in the van. We will we'll have a little time here while we're on the descent to tell you about what we're out here hoping to see and to answer your questions. So thanks for checking in. We're going to
oh, Dan, let's get a
get settled here, and we'll get right to it.
0 of the wraps.
Ah, roger. I always forget that.
Yeah, me too. I'll just try and get in line with you.
Ceremonial zeroing of the wraps.
Yeah.
No, I should do that when Argus goes off deck. It should be my, I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, okay.
How do I do that? I press this button and I come over here and
You can do tether wraps on Herc page and 6-8 wraps on Argus page.
yeah.
Really, I should zero my own wraps. There, I did it.
I feel like the keyboard was over here. I could,
Why don't you just switch the other two controllers and then switch them with the third controller?
I like to have the craft here because it's
Yeah.
convenient.
You like to have it sitting on the table.
Yeah. Makes
That's
me
better than
sit up straight.
Oh yeah, it is a pretty slouchy controller.
I think you have more control than when you're
Really?
sit in this chair. It's
Yeah.
and I find the armrests get in the way. I cramp my style, man. What's that? Oh,
Oh, do we have
it's
both
not.
of them on at the same
Why
time?
is this not doing what it's supposed to do here? I probably have 2 cameras on. I do. Yeah, we're sharing an input there. You want to speed up now?
Yeah, let's do our proper speed.
Okay. Here we go. Speed limit,
Roger.
1.5 turtles. I think that's actually less than a turtle. It's 30 meters a minute.
What was the conversion again? Turtles to meters?
And how many turtles is 30 meters a minute? No, that's more than 1 turtle. So 0.2 knots was 1.15 turtles. And we're doing 30 meters a minute. What's that, half a knot?
It's like a couple of turtles. Unit conversions are fun.
Dan, can you kill the craft? I can't keep up.
Really?
Yeah, we may be just very buoyant or something.
Wow.
Did you forget to replace those ballasts that we...
No, they're on there.
If I figure out how to get us to keep up, then we can turn it back
No,
on.
you won't be able to.
Should we be the tectonic turtles
Oh,
instead of the tectonic talkers?
I think so.
Tectonic turtles.
I
I think we're
enjoy that
on
one
to
a lot.
something.
All in favor?
Aye, aye.
Aye, aye.
Unanimous.
It's kind of a Hawaii thing, too.
Right on.
What is the Hawaiian word for turtle?
It's Honu.
Oh no.
But
That's
it
the
doesn't start
green.
with a T.
How do you
green
spell that?
seed, H-O-N-U.
H-O-N-U.
We could be the tectonic honus.
It's layers upon layers in this
Might have
naming
a convo with-
process.
Kalamehu about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No one is noticing. It is an interesting gadget. Aw.
So we're on the descent here for dive 1888 in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, west of Hawaii. We expect this to be about a 12-hour dive.
Wow. This one is fabulous.
Hopefully our quad view is working better than it was this morning. We were having some difficulties with that, but hopefully it's working better now. And you can see the view from Herc and Argus as we descend. Right now you're also seeing a view of our control van and a map of where we are. We'll go around in just a minute and let you know who's in the room. Let's start answering your questions that are coming in.
No one has been noticing me using the new gadget.
Go ahead.
Nobody.
Go ahead.
Nobody.
We want to see your new skills.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
So our scientist, Dr. Andrea Balbus, is having fun playing with the telestrator, just like in football games when they can do play-by-play with the telestrator. She has been given the control of the stylus for the telestrator, so that our ROV pilots know what she's looking for when she's looking for her rocks. And
I'm going to zoom in on a critter if I can see one float by right now.
she's learning some new skills.
And that, ladies and germs, is why it is on the top screen only.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do the
I
double
missed it.
tap here, Kate.
I
sorry.
missed it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know. Okay.
I
I
keep-
love those little guys. What
Keep
are they
threatening
called?
to-
Xenophores? Cyclonophores.
Ctenophores.
Yeah. What did you say, Dan?
Ctenophores.
Okay, I'm trying to zoom in on them. With this
The
little
little,
pin, you can capture them and zoom in.
The little LED, the little guys with LEDs.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
If you're watching
They're not really
Channel 3,
LEDs,
you
but-
can see Andrea
Trying to catch them.
looking and using the telestrator. She's in the center of this,
Oh, no.
the back science row.
That's not the view I needed.
Wow. That's
No, they
fast.
need to see the magic happen.
Because if you've seen those things up close, they are so wonderful.
You look
they-
up in the light just a little bit, you can see them more.
Oh, okay.
Not quite that much.
Okay.
Just down a little. I was talking in the background. They're looking for
Oh, I
ctenophores.
missed it.
Cyclonophores.
Once when we were diving, I think at dusk or dawn, we saw a lot more than we usually see.
I don't
and
know
they
why
were
the
fantastic.
you have some light on that's causing glare there. A downlight. It didn't work. I have to try 3 times tonight. Okay,
Oh, missed it.
can you press that button one more time for me?
Oh, missed it again.
I'll slow down a little. I'm over the speed limit here. Yeah.
I got to get the timing down on this thing.
We'll use this 1980s security camera here to look.
Yeah, I just accidentally pressed the wrong one. I was trying to pull it over here.
There are indeed 3 there, Gummy.
Oh.
There are 3 there. Bubble cam. Oh, we have a different scoop too. And it doesn't stick to the magnet during launch and recovery.
That looks like the scoop from the ice machine.
At least it's not the scoop from the ice cream sundaes. That would be sad.
That could be.
Here, Gabby, here's one more thing. Scoop all this dirt into there.
I got one.
I'm just imagining a Hercules Olympics at one point.
Is that like electronic fishing in the back row there?
Yeah,
I think it's more like whack-a-mole. I'm not really sure what's happening
I
back
just
here.
want to see one of those, a good image of those. I love them. Like I said, when, at dawn or dusk is when I saw like some of the most magnificent ones.
Nav, could you zoom out on HIPAC so I get a big picture view of
Absolutely.
where we are in relation to Don Quixote Seamount? Northeast edge.
So yeah, you can see us over here.
Wow, looks like we are going to see some extremely steep.
Oh, cliffs.
Yeah.
Cliffs.
We like those. We like steep cliffs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's quite a drop off.
These are 10-meter contours. There we go.
But we are on the northeast side of Don Quixote, right?
Yes.
Let's keep zooming out.
Wow, primary's hot.
It's a big feature.
It is quite the seamount. Correct, northeast side.
Yeah, northeast.
North side.
North, yeah. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
You can see that image of the topography we're exploring today. If you're watching the quad view, it's in the third window there, or on YouTube, you can fire up channel 3. We're going to go around and do a little roll call this morning as we are descending through the blue water. And we're going to start it out with a viewer question from jolly old England. So as we're going around, you say, let us know what your role is here and your name, and what are you most looking forward to, either on this expedition or on this particular dive. So I'll start us out. My name is Kim. I am in the Science Communication Fellow Chair, doing some science communicating here for you. And what I am looking forward to on this dive is seeing what we see. This is a completely unexplored feature. We have the map, but we have not sent the ROVs onto the site. So very interested to see what the biology and the geology look like, because no one has seen it before.
Yeah, I like to have it where both the pilot and the co-pilot can get it. That's why it was meant to be over there, not ding, ding, ding. These kind of go together because they're the vintage turn of the century.
So I'm Petrancio, co-watch lead. I'm looking forward to seeing not only some more high density, high diversity coral and sponge communities here, but I'd like to see some associates on them to see how other animals are interacting with these ecosystem engineers.
And what kind of associates do you think that we might see associated with the corals and sponges?
We're likely to see the always entertaining squat lobster, who perches on these and has his claws extended up into the current to snatch food particles. We're probably going to see some sea stars and also the brittle stars. Brittle stars are plankton feeders. They're using the corals and sponges to climb up out of the sediment and get up into the current. So they're looking for plankton, marine snow. I'd say those are the most likely. The snails, those acrobatic snails on the other watch were pretty, I've never seen those. Their defense mechanism is to tumble rapidly down slope. And two of them put on quite a show. I don't know what they feed on out here.
I'm Andrea Balbus, geologist, and I think what I'm looking forward to most in regards to these dives and this expedition in general is getting these ages back, getting the data and knowing how old these seamounts are.
2450.
I'm Sarah Bremer. I am sitting in the data logger chair for this dive, and I would like to see some, I think they, Steve called it spinning snails.
Yeah.
I would love to see those. And some more larger swimmers, like eels and fish.
Yeah, we haven't seen many of them. A few. But it's very rocky seamounts we've been exploring, so not a lot of fish.
So that's the back row of the control van. If you ever see that control van shot, this is the back row, the science row. Up in the front row, we've got the folks that are driving the bus and driving the cameras. What are y'all looking forward to on this dive?
Steve in the video chair. I'm looking forward to being surprised and
Right on.
seeing something I've never even thought about, which seems to happen on most dives.
Right on.
Steve, you're kind of faint. I don't know if it's your microphone or...
Check, check, 1, 2.
Yeah, still kind of faint.
My levels look good on my view.
I hear you pretty good back here.
I hear you well.
Okay, it's just me. Sorry.
The hearing's going.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the...
Do not adjust your
Is
set.
your microphone plugged in?
I think so.
My name is Kate, and I am sitting in the nav seat today, every day.
I'm looking, and I bet you're looking forward to the DP working for this entire dive.
Oh yeah, second part of the question.
That would be boring.
Yes, I would love if the DP worked for the entire portion of the dive. That would be much appreciated. And it would be really nice to see some dramatic topography, like cliff faces and little canyon things, you know.
Right.
Maybe.
I'm Gabby. I'm sitting in the Herc seat. And I really want a chance at redemption with like a really big dramatic sponge. I missed the one last night because we were just careening all over the place. And
Just lost sleep over it,
and
obviously.
I lost sleep over it because it was such a good sponge and we hadn't seen one like it yet. And yeah, that's what I want.
If it makes you feel any better, we did get really good capture on that. So even though we were flying by between data and video and you,
Okay,
we did
I'm
still
glad.
get good capture.
This is why it takes a village here.
That's right. That's right.
I do wonder what the other side looked like.
I know. I want to know what the other side looked like.
The world will never know.
And we've got a bunch of people who can do. What's that?
Sorry, that reminds me.
Oh,
Go
a bunch
ahead.
of people who can do photogrammetry out here and really want like a full data set of like a dramatic sponge to build a 3D model out of, and that would just be so cool.
All right. So dramatic sponge it is.
Yes, still cams. Do it.
Yeah, I have to get it. In
Beauty.
what I do. Oh, I did something bad. My name is Dan. I'm sitting in the Argus chair, and way too many computers in front of me. I have I have 3 displayed here, but I can have buttons for, I don't know how many buttons there are, 32 buttons. So it keeps me entertained over here, but sometimes I get sidetracked. I'm with Kate and Gabby on this one. I would like to see cliffs. One of my favorite things to see with the ROV is like 100-meter cliffs. So radical overhanging terrain, and keeps us on our toes up here because we have to move. We're operating in a 3-dimensional space over several kilometers, so we have to move Argus. We have to position Argus 20 meters off of these imaginary cliffs by moving Nautilus several kilometers above, so which is challenging, but the footage that we see is usually spectacular, and especially at the top of the cliffs we can see these giant sponges and corals that we may or may not have seen before. So Gabby could be vindicated if we see that kind of topo. And it's looking promising by the really steep lines there on the
I have no idea where they came from.
bathymetry.
Just to torment you.
So where we go from that transition to very steep side and then start to round off towards the summit, that is prime spot for these internal waves to be generated.
Oh.
They have a preferred angle down in the deep ocean, about 2 degrees. And when the bottom slope matches that preferred angle, you get very strong bottom currents, and the waves are generated there.
So we might see a relationship with the populations.
Could be, yeah. Right. I think Chris picked a great spot to explore. Great part of the ridge.
Yeah, that's just current on the way down. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't even try. When we're a couple hundred meters from the bottom. We're just discussing the dynamics of Herc and Argus on the way down, and Gabby's drawing rather interesting graphics on the navigation screen.
I think between that and the telestrator, the tectonic turtles are off to a flying start.
Yes.
The currents change as we dive, and we don't have a downward facing DVL on Nautilus for some reason, so we don't really know until we get there. But we keep Hercules horizontal with Argus on the way down, so the tether doesn't become tangled up, so it kind of goes around like the hand of a clock. And we don't have the power to keep it all like northeast or southwest on the way down. We're using all of our beans to descend as fast as we can.
Yeah, let's get down there. What is our dive depth today?
2532 according to utility.
2430.
Yeah, 2430.
Oh.
Ending at 2205.
We need to update.
Need to read that dive plan down.
2532 was yesterday's.
Usually I ask the navigator what the depth is before we smash into the bottom. What is it?
2430.
Thank you.
Based on where we're tracking right now, we'll probably land maybe 10 meters shallower, but evaluate when we get closer.
Our current depth is just over 600 meters. So we'll have a little time here. Maybe time to answer a question from a young viewer named Vince. Vince wants to know why we named the ROVs Hercules and Argus, and who got to do the naming. And I know the answer to the first part, but maybe somebody else can chime in for the second part. These are named after Greek figures of mythology. Hercules was a god famous for his strength, stamina, and far-reaching adventures. And our own Hercules certainly lives up to those traits as well. And Argus, our smaller ROV, was named after a mythological Greek giant who was known as the all-seeing one. It's one of Argus's main job is to keep an eye on Herc and hopefully see all before trouble happens. But I don't know how they got those names. Anybody know who was involved in that naming process?
I don't know. I would imagine Dr. Ballard would be the one making those calls. I know Atalanta was named after Allison, who's our what is it? She's our chief operating officer now, and she's often out here on expedition lead. So there's 2 other vehicles on the deck as well. There's Little Herc that really needs its own name, and there's Atalanta, which is kind of a mini Argus, was named by Allison. So
I think Atalanta, correct me if I'm wrong, but Atalanta may have been one of the, may have been a female Argonaut.
Yeah.
But yeah, Herc and Argus were named before I got here.
It's interesting. Typically in a lot of remotely operated vehicles are gender neutral. They don't have a masculine or feminine name.
Yeah.
If you actually Google ROV names, there's something on
they're like
Google that
they're like a ship or something.
yeah, we usually refer to them, or often refer to them as the vehicle or the ROV.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've gotten pretty attached to these vehicles, though, and I feel like they've sort of gotten a little bit anthropomorphized.
Yeah.
Atalanta was a huntress known for her speed and skill in the hunt.
Indeed, she was.
There you go. So that's what we're out here trying to do. See all with strength and stamina and exploration with our awesome set of vehicles here. Thanks for your question. We have viewers joining us from all around the world. We've got at least 12 countries represented. So welcome wherever you're joining us from.
Hey, Steve, you want the still camera? You're welcome. Steve called up requesting still camera.
Sweet. Set it up, Steve, and we'll get it.
Is it on?
Gabby's keen to...
yeah, I want to go big on the still cam on this dive.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
She's keen for some manual action, which we have the capability of doing up here.
Okay, let's get this
Setting
thing
up.
going.
Gabby's very keen.
So it'll be approximately 90 seconds before the still cam is online and available.
Yeah, I just powered it up, though.
Thank you.
Should we count down?
Yeah, we could. I'm very excited.
You'll hear us mentioning quite a few different cameras, not all of which are available to you viewing at home. We've got bubble cam and all sorts of other cameras, both on the ROVs and here on the EV Nautilus.
You will see some of the, if we get some good stills with the digital still cam, I've been told those are being used to promote the dives. So you will see those data products out probably in social media or something like that. They don't just disappear into the ether.
No, we take the digital still cam as one of the shutterbugs can tell you, probably Steve, what's in there. It's a Sony Super Razzmatazz, the latest and greatest
Super
DSLR.
Razzmatazz.
It's got 1 billion megapixels, and it takes raw images, so requires a shutterbug to do something with the post-processing of the image.
Yeah, definitely fewer than 1 billion megapixels, but
Well, to me, it's like
it's a lot.
1 billion in raw.
It's a lot.
Maybe fewer than 1 billion, but it has all the razzmatazz a person could want.
Obviously, I'm not a shutterbug, and all of that's way over my head. That's why we have Steve, Aaron.
I'm here. I'm not too familiar with that camera because it's always cased in that housing, so I haven't gotten my hands on it.
You have the capability, actually, so we tried to promote that last year, remember? I think you played with it a bit.
I did mess with it last year.
Yeah, so you can pull it up on your one of your 20 computers.
Which computer on the KVM is it?
Still cam.
Still cam.
Oh, I don't know what it's called on the KVM, actually.
You can actually get to it from any computer on the network if you remote desktop in. I imagine Steve is playing with it now because it takes a while to go through the procedure to get it set up for
There it is, channel
subsea.
still cam. I'm going to take a video. I'm going to look at it.
Nothing, we're okay.
Nothing up right now.
Yes, ma'am. We would probably have to double check with Steve because that's kind of his baby, but there is a documented option to take it out of intervalometer and use it. Yeah. Absolutely does. So I was trying to get to a point where the video.
So if you want to learn more about either our human Corps of Exploration or the technology that we're using, you can find information on both on nautiluslive.org. Just click on team and you can see photos and bios of every member of the Corps of Exploration, or click on Science and Tech to learn more about our mechanical team members,
We're going
Herc and Argus.
to go off comms in the front row for a minute here.
Roger.
Herc and Argus are descending on a seamount, which is an extinct volcano that is below the surface out here in Apahaunumokuakea Marine Monument, west of Hawaii.
We're on the north end of that seamount chain that we're exploring. Hopefully we got some good rock samples for Andrea to do some accurate dating.
Yeah, I think some of those were altered last night, but they were as good as we were going to get. We gave it a good go.
Yeah.
When we lifted them out, Sarah, I could tell they weren't heavy enough.
Well, we'll have a good time on bottom today here to hopefully get you some more.
They're great for what Beth needs. So usually when I'm out here and I'm just the only hard rock person, there's nobody who wants a soft rock, I get depressed that we putting so much effort in. But then now I just gonna say, oh, Beth has great rocks.
She can make use of some extras.
Yeah, and just having a good altered one is great for her.
Yeah.
Hey, aloha gang. This is Kalama checking in from the lounge. Just wanted to say mahalo guys for the commentary. Just wanted to I was just thinking about it, and we were sharing a little bit about mythologies and other historical figures, and thank you, Kim, for bringing up the name for Papahānaumokuākea. So I was wondering if I might be able to share for a little bit just about the name if we have some time.
Absolutely. Let the viewers at home know who you are and share with them what you want to share.
Yeah. So aloha kako. My name is Kalama Takahashi, and I'm currently the Olelo Hawaii or Hawaiian language liaison on board. And then I'm also here in support of our educational specialist, Andy Collins. But just a little bit of context that in terms of the name Papahānaumokuākea, this is actually a blend of two of our deified ancestors that we identify as one, Papahānaumoku, which is of course the first half of the name, and the second one being Akea or Wakea. And so Papahānaumoku is these are two of the parents of the progenitors of the Hawaiian people. Wakea being like the sky father, if you will, and Papahānaumoku being literally the birther of islands. So the duality of that sense and that familial genealogical structure is a way for us to honor our descendancy from the natural environment and all of its contents, but also as a means to sort of to honor the sacredness of where we are as well. For a little bit more context and stuff like that, we are generally in a realm. Like the Hawaiian chain would actually follow the Hawaiian life cycle. So of course, starting with the most volcanic and youngest areas down in the region to the southeast, and now up to where we are now, of course, in the monument in the northwest. Basically, from the Hawaiian point of view, right, the Hawaiian life cycle will start off in the east, and then we'll transition over onto the west. And so, like we do as well, we're brought into the world, we age, and then we return back to the realm of our ancestors. And so, just a little bit of layered meaning about like some of the genealogy of the place name. The name for the monument itself, Papahānaumokuākea, was the brainchild basically of a well-renowned cultural practitioner, Auntie Puakanahele, as well as Uncle Buzzy Agard, and them along with us with many conversations with communities and other practitioners had decided on this name as a way to honor our relationship to this place. So if I may have not had the best explanation, but if any of you guys are wanted to learn a little bit more, I'm actually looking at the monument website at papahānaumokuākea.gov in the about, and there you can find a detailed explanation as well as some resources to learn how to pronounce it and to hear a recording of the story in detail, if you will. So just wanted to share that, and thank you guys for And thank you guys for all the work that we're doing just to make the expedition go forward, man. Everybody. So mahalo.
Hey, before you go, mahalo. Before you go, can you also talk a little bit about the expedition name for this expedition?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. So I just wanted to first acknowledge the Cultural Working Group, which is a voluntary group of practitioners, experts from the entire archipelago, from which I had the pleasure of recently becoming involved with through the context of this expedition. But the collective decision was to sort of keep it to a series in order to sort of track the progression of our learning experience as we go through these huaka'i, or journeys, if you will. But so the first portion is lu'ua'ea, and if you guys are at home at your computers and you guys need a little vocal exercise, lu'ua'ea, you guys can say it, lu'ua'ea if you want. But lu'u is to dive, and then ea is to basically rise up and come back up. And so what we're trying to describe is the action of the ROVs, right? So we dive down into the depths, we go into these areas and these realms of Po in order to sort of to gather and extract knowledge, and then we bring that up and as a means to come back up and to be seen by the rest of the world, to share our experiences. Ahiki'i is basically means to until we reach a certain point. And then finally the papaku is a general Hawaiian language term for the seafloor. And so basically what we're doing, right, we're describing the things. So we're taking a bunch of dives, we're doing the research and collecting all these things, sharing our experiences and expertise, and we're coming back up to share that with the rest of the world. And then the specific destination over here, which is a little more specified with the name of this one, is the seafloor. So, yep, just a little bit on that.
I find there is a lot of similarities to some of the great myths around the world that are usually related to native cultures, and that they're all kind of the same as we are human beings. And we talk about the hero's journey, and the hero's journey is to go into the darkness, into a realm that other people don't know, and experience a dangerous place so they can come back for knowledge and something to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. And in the end, the whole world sings.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think that through various processes, we're taught to sort of fear the dark, but actually through in the Hawaiian worldview anyways, through a longer cosmogony called the Kumulipo, it actually gives us a solid, pretty much a straight line back to the relationship to Po, or to the darkness itself, because that's the Al-Kupuna, or like the realm where the gods and our ancestors who have passed on reside. And so it's cool to sort of re-examine the concept of darkness and how we actually originate from it, and which we will eventually return to it.
Yes.
So it's pretty awesome. So
yeah, and also it helps us, as we know, the most powerful beings in the world or in our mythology are those that can confront their fears, that are also often associated with darkness, because it's where the courageous enter.
Yeah. And Andrea, that's an awesome point, and we were having this conversation last night, but I believe that the these expeditions, and then just the different roles and the community that we represent with on this ship, definitely serve as entry points. So if we have any of the young viewers out there that are kind of thinking about, how can I get involved, or does it seem a little bit scary, I would personally encourage you to maybe reach out to OET, to reach out to some of the individuals on the ship. Man, everybody's really good at what they do, and I've been personally learning so much from everyone. So please, if you have a question out there, if you guys want to learn how to get involved, OET has a lot of great resources. The affiliated parties with Papahanaumokuakea have so much to offer on both the OHA and the monument website. So we encourage you guys to go check it out. Come get involved.
And don't be afraid to bring your warrior spirit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fortune favors the bold.
That is right.
That's a motto on my Naval Academy class crest. And but I think it's a reminder that you make your own luck. Some folks might think we are incredibly lucky when we stumble on some of these discoveries down deep, but we're making our own luck. There's a lot of hard work that goes into putting yourself in place for these fortunate discoveries. A lot of training, a lot of teamwork, and investment on the part of the nation. So the National Ocean Exploration Program, led by NOAA, and executed with the help of Nautilus and some other vessels. I think that's a sign of a very mature research program, a national research program. You need a certain amount of investment in pure exploration like we're involved in. There's certainly, most funding goes to hypothesis-driven research, but a certain amount needs to be set aside for exploration of deep ocean, exploration of space. There's a lot to be learned out there.
Yeah, and I think too that we need to start focusing on building communities around our science. So our citizen scientists and motivating all peoples from all cultures from a young age to come in and participate, because as I tell my students, if you were stuck on a scientific problem for a year and you needed help and somebody offered you 100 mines that were just like your own, or 5 mines that were far different than yours, which would you take? Well, you would always take the 5 mines that were completely different than yours. And so that's why one of the reasons we need to strive for intellectual diversity. And how we achieve that intellectual diversity is by embracing the cultures of all people and understanding that they have their own value that they bring, their own perspectives that allow us to ask new scientific questions, test new hypotheses, and come to a better understanding of our natural world and how to live with it and amongst it and take care of it. So I think it's really important that we're partnering with the people of Hawaii and that are so proud and should be proud of their culture, are holding on to it, nurturing it, and investing in their future with their children to know how important it is. And it's just an honor for me. And I think one of the great things that a lot of the people from the Nautilus group have is humility. We know when to, that it's important to be humble and not to it's not about our ego, it's about bringing something back for the community.
I couldn't agree with everybody more. Thank you guys so much for sharing. So to our community out there, well, particularly to Hawaii in this time and across the world, we hope that you take the message and you take the resources and you consider all of the voices that are here, and we definitely encourage you to pass those on. Please reach out further and find more ways to connect, right? I think that the best part about this is like the multidisciplinary aspect and approach that not only the monument has generally, but how the Nautilus as a community is also involving these different perspectives, and how these expeditions also have a means to either to further inform or to even create best management practices that come from all of these different perspectives. So once again, just another voice down in the lounge, sending my appreciation up there to you guys. So mahalo.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Kalamayo.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
So some exciting news about Papahānaumokuākea became public here while we've been out at sea. That currently the designation is as a national marine monument, but there is now going to be some consideration to designate it a national marine sanctuary. This would add an additional layer of protections to the area, which does not allow any extractive practices. And so that is something that has just been announced that they're going to consider and study this idea and see if they want to add this additional layer of protection.
National marine sanctuaries work. We need these refuges, especially as the ocean is undergoing change, where ecosystems can thrive, and certainly there's a balance of needs, but it's been shown that the fish populations within the sanctuaries, there's a spillover effect, so that fisheries outside the sanctuary are more successful when you have a sanctuary. It's helping to sustain fisheries beyond the borders.
Yeah, we've seen some evidence of that. We saw some beautiful mahi-mahi from the deck of the ship yesterday.
Brilliant, brilliant colors. They don't even look real.
Yeah, very cool. Bright yellow, bright green, darting around. So as our front row is continuing to work out some technical issues. We got questions coming in from our viewers about life aboard ship. They want to know, are we eating MREs, meals ready to eat, while we are deployed here? Our deployment is 3 weeks long. There's 43 souls on board. And are we roughing it out here at sea?
Not at all.
Not exactly. The food here is actually pretty incredible.
Is this a new one?
We're getting 3 squares a day, and leftovers are always available from some fresh baked goods in the afternoon. So there are 2 cooks on Nautilus are doing an incredible job. And we all take part in the provisions on load when we're in port, getting ready for the next expedition. Truck delivers food for the next leg of the cruise, and we line up in the passageways, pass everything back to the refrigerated area where these items are kept, but we're eating well.
A little too well.
Yeah, we are not suffering. That is definitely not what's happening here. The ship also has a small gym for working off all those extra calories we're getting from our afternoon cake and cookies and our Sunday ice cream sundaes. We are not eating MREs. If anybody on this ship is eating an MRE, they are doing it purely by their own choice. But thanks for that question about life aboard ship.
It's like about 50 minutes to go to reach bottom.
So we'll get a little under 2 hours of exploration. Yeah, okay.
Then about 8 more on the other watches before they need to leave the seafloor.
Uh-huh.
There's a jelly or something.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping your questions coming in as we continue to descend here. We're a little over halfway to our estimated final depth. If you're curious what the depths of the ROVs are, those are updated live on the website, nautiluslive.org. You can see the depth of Argus and Herc, so you can know their relative positions to each other. They're descending together and work together as a team.
We don't see a lot of activity in the water column out here. This area is described as oligotrophic, not a lot of nutrients compared to some coastal areas which are eutrophic. And then a telltale sign of that is the very thin or absence of sediment on these seamounts that we're exploring. Very rocky. Even though they're millions, tens of millions of years old, we believe, there's very little buildup of sediment. A part of that is scouring by currents, but the other part is just not a lot raining down in this area.
Yeah, Sarah, do you know, have we successfully collected push cores on any of the watches?
No, we haven't. The sediment hasn't been, I guess, like mud rich or clay rich enough to stick together, so it just falls out of the tubes.
But the corals and sponges are able to survive or thrive in these low nutrient conditions. A little bit is enough for them.
It might be just the perfect amount.
Yeah, certainly in Coral Canyon on Ha'a'eo seamount. 2 dives ago, came upon a very rich community, very diverse community. I think Steve said he estimates over 20 different species of corals on that entire dive.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So was he really happy when he was talking to you about it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that was a good dive for us.
Stay tuned to the website where we will be posting photo and video highlights as well as our YouTube. We are getting those processed here aboard and then using the same satellite technology that's bringing the live streams to you now. Those are uploaded to satellite, downloaded to our onshore facilities in Rhode Island, and then readied for publication on the website. All right, so we're getting a question about those corals. Are we finding hard corals or soft corals in these areas?
We have both, but I would say mostly soft corals. We've got some the precious ones. Are they considered hard? Yeah.
I think they are. The precious ones are considered hard.
Coralia.
And the bamboo, right? Aren't they considered hard?
True. I think the soft corals are in the minority. Yeah. The anthopastes that we've seen.
And most of the soft corals, you can tell by sight that they're soft corals. They are.
Yeah.
They look a little, I don't know, what would you say, elastic?
They look more like an anemone to me.
Yeah, they do look more. That is correct. They do. They look more like an anemone. They don't have that rounded anemone shape, but their tentacles definitely look like an anemone.
And we also saw those corals that form a string along the rock, polyp by polyp. What were the name of those?
Those were stoloniferous octocorals. I've never seen such small coral.
Yeah.
And it looks like a vein of some material on the rock, and with our ability to zoom in with the teamwork of the pilots and Steve, our video engineer, we got a good look at the tiny polyps that were connected in strings along the basalt. There's filter feeding going on different scales here.
We've also been seeing quite a few different sponges, some quite large. So
beautiful, yeah.
I never knew how much I love sponges until these dives started, and now I'm really fascinated about all the different shapes and forms that we've been seeing. Thanks for your question. Keep them coming. Keep them coming on nautiluslive.org. How you doing though, front row? Everything sorted?
I'm doing great. I think they're just sorting out some video stuff.
All right.
We have a little bit of time here.
So Herc or August, got time for a question here?
Pilots, are you on SPL?
Sorry, guys. Are you just calling my name by any chance?
No.
No,
sorry.
we're looking for our
Herc-
pilots.
I'm
Argus,
right here.
yeah.
Okay.
So
You got
sorry.
me. I'm here.
So quick question on the descent rate. So that is set by the ability of the thrusters on Herc and Argus to go down together, correct?
Not on the descent.
Yeah.
It's more complex than that.
Yeah, I was wondering how you balance the speed of the winch versus your ability to descend.
So on the way down, we're limited by how fast we want to run the winch, which is 30 meters a minute. And on the way up, we're limited by how fast we can drive the vehicle up. The vehicle drives down a lot faster than it drives up for a number of reasons. So we can drive down really fast, but we only want to operate the winch so fast. So on the way down, 30 meters a minute, winch restricted. On the way up, around 15 meters a minute, vehicle buoyancy and power restricted.
Roger, thanks.
We can't go a lot faster than 30. We could maybe do 35.
Oh, you mean with the vehicle on the way down?
Yeah. The winch will actually do close to 60, 40 some meters a minute.
Oh.
But the speed limit is 30. You get speeding tickets if you go too fast.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff happening in that with that traction winch. So if something did go wrong at the faster speed, and historically we've seen some slippage on the center wire there going through the. It goes around the traction winch 5 times.
Have you guys ever sent the winch video out over like that winch quad? I mean, it's quite impressive, all the winch apparatus stuff happening.
I sent the winch out. I was doing it last night on the ascent. I'll throw it up right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool set of equipment.
There's a lot of moving parts in there, and there's
any particular one you're looking for?
I like that quad. It looks awesome.
Sending out the quad.
I don't know. It's what is it? Multi-view.
I'm gonna have to dig in for that one. But here's a view to start, an overview.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So it's a bit more of a complicated winch than a fishing rod. It's a traction winch, so the big wheel you see going around and around, the cable comes off the storage drum, which is in the bottom of the photo there, or the top of the video. Sorry, which one's going out? The top right. And it goes through a 90-degree level wind sheave, and that's what winds the cable on and off the big storage drum evenly. So that's hydraulically actuated and goes left and right on an Acme screw. And there's little whiskers there, we call them, to sense where the cable is, whether that needs to go left or right. Then it goes around the big wheels on the left 5 times, and that's the traction part of the winch. So the storage drum is holding approximately 1 ton of tension between the traction winch and the storage drum. So it's right now it's actually peeling the cable off of the storage drum, and when we haul in, it's doing the opposite. The traction winch is holding the load, which is at the moment 7,000 pounds hanging on the end of the wire. But so there's no slack for it going on the storage winch. That 1 ton of tension is making it wrap on the drum nicely. Otherwise it would do what we call knifing. So if it's not wrapped on there tight and it sees too much of a load, the cable can actually squeeze down between the layers. And if you've ever been fishing with a bait reel or a spinner rod and had tangled string on it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that's not desirable with 5 to 10,000 pounds hanging on the end of the wire. And then it comes up out of the hold and turns 90 degrees through a sheave on the deck, and then runs out through our overboarding sheave on the A-frame, which you see on launch and recovery. So there's a lot of inertia there and a lot of moving parts on the winch that have to work right. That's why we have 6 cameras, 4 of which are in front of the pilots all the time. Actually 5, where there's another camera over there to the in front of the navigator that's showing its hydraulic